Hey everybody, welcome to Season 7 of BattleBots. Thank you for joining us. Team Witch Doctor, you're going to be hanging out with us as we go through the pits, breakfast, the battle box, all of the other tents. We hope you'll join us as we work our way towards the giant nut.
That's great.
Hey friends with robots, my name is Brett. It's my first year in BattleBots and on Team Witch Doctor. I'll be your humble guide for Pit Pass, bringing you to World Championship 7 through the piercing, deadly eyes of Team Witch Doctor. Woo! The first day of matches doesn't even happen until day 4 of BattleBots filming. There's so much work to do before we even get to matches. We have to set up the pit. We have to actually finish building the robots. We have to pass several safety inspections, driver's meeting, testing, troubleshooting, and coming up with a strategy for our first opponent. Andrew and Paul gave me a lengthy rundown on the choices we have to make for fighting Ribbot. Ribbot is challenging to plan for because they can run a horizontal or vertical weapon. You don't know what they've selected until you're in the battle box together. Unfortunately for Ribbot, lucky for us, while testing in Test Box 1, they had a malfunction. This affected the setups that they had available to them. It appeared they could only run their vertical weapon. With that crucial information, we could decide which armor type and wedge style we would run with. If you haven't seen our match against Ribbot already, you should really check it out. It's a really good match.
That was fun.
How was your first part?
That's intense, yo. In the back of my mind, there's part of my brain making sure Brett wasn't gonna fall over fainting. Just like, it's pretty intense the first time they hit.
At this point, World Championship 7 is in full swing. And we managed to snag our first win. But how do we come away from the match? What do we do next?
You have to go to the battery tent, or the burn down tent. Pull your batteries out, make sure they don't explode. That's the first chance we get to look at both robots, ours and our opponents. With Ribbot, they were really cool to be in that tent with. They came over, they're like, man, you destroyed us, and we destroyed a couple parts on you.
Did you do anything? Oh yeah. So you're like all the bolts on the side.
Oh, the hedge is almost gone.
Yeah.
You guys hit like right here. You look at the weapon disc, it's probably bent now.
We start going in depth, looking at what's different. We know how the robot looked when we went into the fight. We want to see what changed after. Yeah, those are my pants up there. Those are right. I hung them up on my hanger, yeah. Usually it's an outside perimeter and then we work our way into the middle. We try and photograph what happened because we're gonna forget in 2 days. Towards the end of the tournament, all of our spares are gone and we gotta figure out what's been in the fight the least. We don't have an odometer for the parts, so we gotta keep track of our own mileage with everything. We'll eventually kind of fall into place with their tasks, and then we all just swarm on the robot, work on our piece, come off of it, and have a new robot ready.
So Cherry right now is doing some of the documentation.
Yeah, so he's focused on weapon hits. We went weapon to weapon a couple times, and our tooth ends up getting dull. So it's a more blunt hit. We're not shredding as much. So just trying to evaluate integrity of the weapon, looking at everything that supports the weapon to make sure that's still sound. We lost a bunch of screws up front that hold our front wedges on. A couple of our front wedge support plates are buckled. One wedge is bent in, but all of that we could still use. They'll just probably be later spares. Big concern I had this year was our mid-rail. Everyone's been concerned about that. The because that was bending a lot last year, and that was robbing energy out of our hit. After that first fight, we had a lot of decent hits in there, and our frame still looks pretty solid. So it looks like we made all the changes in the right direction.
You were moving the wheels by hand. What's that about?
We reuse what we can if they're still good, so we're checking that the wheels are still spinning concentrically and not have a big wobble. It can also show chains. We do a full spin, so we see if the chains go all the way around. If there's any nicks on those, we just take them out and get new chains. If everything is still in perfect condition, we're probably going to use it again because you only have so many spares. Once you see a bit of damage, you have to evaluate: is it worth keeping this piece or just get rid of it and go with fresh?
And you're looking for oscillations?
Yeah, like it's still spinning perfectly roundly.
What's that look like?
Okay. Is the other one like that too? Or no? This part wasn't scraping.
Yeah.
This did.
So it's probably spinning on here. And that's...
It definitely whipped that a few times on its
You
way
can
out.
see the rubber on the bolt here. It's like taking the roll off.
With damage assessment underway, complete disassembly, repair, and next match plans can begin. Before moving on from the tussle with Ribbot, however, a tradition must be continued.
So there's a tradition in BattleBots where after a fight, win or lose, if the other team damaged part of your robot, you'll sign it and give it to them. So we just went over and gave Ribbot a piece, and we got this really awesome piece back in return. I see some really cool damage. It's been awesome talking to the Ribbot guys before and after the match. And they're just awesome competitors, so this is a really, really cool part for our collection.
The first match is not even in the rearview mirrors, but planning for the next match is quickly underway. Dedicated single-disc weapon, brushless weapon motors, chain reductions for the drivetrain instead of gearboxes. How did Witch Doctor land on these decisions? Let's rewind the clock. Next time on Pit Pass.
Alright, so that's it for this week's episode. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed it, comment, hit the like button, check out our store. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.